so honored to be here with this distinguished panel. And I am not joking, like I am truly honored. I love seeing all these faces, these diverse faces. And thank you for everyone who showed up tonight. For those who don't know me, I'm Andrea Salinas, state representative from House District 38. I grew up in California and worked as an intern my last year of college for Senator Dianne Feinstein in her San Francisco district office. It was the year that she ran against Michael Huffington. Combined, the campaign spent upwards of $44 million for a statewide Senate race. Yeah, at the time, it was the most expensive race in the nation outside of a presidential race. That race made me question my ability to ever really help influence the policies in my state, much less our nation. I didn't have that kind of money that was pouring into those races. I could barely afford to pay for the parking in downtown San Francisco for the 6 hours I interned in her office each week. Fast forward 26 years and one state north, and I'm now serving in Oregon's legislature, thinking the same thing I thought in 1994. How can anyone who can barely pay for their college tuition expect to participate in elections in a meaningful way? How do they know their voices will be heard and not drowned out by big money in politics? And how can I, right now with a clean conscience, continue to contribute to this dysfunction when it doesn't honestly or fairly serve our democracy and the people of Oregon? Oregon's one of a handful of states, as we've heard tonight, that doesn't have campaign contribution limits. And this is a gatekeeper to a full functioning participatory democracy. My dad came to the US from Mexico when he was 5, and I come from a long line of migrant farm workers. I was the first of the Salinas or the Cordovas to go to college. I didn't grow up wealthy, and I don't have generational wealth, but I have a number of potential opponents in my upper middle class income district who could self-fund $1 million opposition campaign to my race at a moment's notice. So it's a privilege to even be able to run for office. And that privilege is a gatekeeper to a diverse legislature. But we have the opportunity to shift that privilege and make accessing our political system a little bit fairer. Right now, we have some of the youngest and my most diverse group of freshmen, 3 of whom are with us tonight. I am so excited to welcome these new fresh faces like Winsve Campos, Con Pham, Ricky Ruiz, Casey Jama to our legislature. But I want other young candidates to believe that they too can mount a credible campaign and still hold down a job and maybe care for their families. This session, I've been working hard to bring real campaign finance reform to the state of Oregon, because frankly, Oregonians are sick of big money in politics. Over 20 years since the Oregon Supreme Court ruled that campaign contribution limits violated the state constitution, Oregon has become a leader, but in all the wrong ways. We're one of only 5 states with no limits on cash contributions for individuals and corporations. We rank #1 in per capita corporate giving, and our elections are often the most expensive in the nation. You can see why Oregonians want system change. They want their voices to be heard. They want to feel like their vote counts in an election. But when someone like Phil Knight can contribute $3.5 million to influence the results of an election, it's easy to understand, as Senator Golden just said, why they feel disengaged and discouraged. But this session, we have a unique opportunity to take real and meaningful action on campaign finance reform. As the chief sponsor of House Bill 3343, it's what I've been working on all session. And I believe that components of my bill and Senator Golden's bill, SB 336, are crucial to getting us to that real reform that Oregonians want. It's absent of the big loopholes that allow the big contributions to seep in, and it has low limits that Oregonians can relate to, and it has the enforcement structures that will provide real accountability. And I believe that momentum is there to pass a strong bill with these provisions, but time is running out. The legislative session is set to end on June 27th, and as things stand, all campaign finance reform bills still need to make it out of committee and through both chambers. I know that seems like a daunting task in the slow-moving world of politics, but it is possible. But it's going to take the voices of Oregonians, like everybody on this call tonight, telling legislative leadership that we need real campaign finance reform. It's what we voted on in the fall. I understand what you're probably thinking. Contact your legislator. That's what I'm always asked to do. It's the oldest cliche in the book. but I only say it because it actually works. Before I vote, and I'm sure the legislators on this call can tell you the same thing, I ask my staff, what are constituents saying about this bill? How many voicemails have I gotten? How many letters in support? How many letters against? Because they matter. And I know leadership asks the same thing. So I need you to contact legislative leadership and your legislator and tell them that we need to move forward on campaign finance reform this session that's free of loopholes, that allow big contributions. We need to get rid of that keeps limits low and that broadens power to everyday Oregonians. We don't know if this moment will come again. And with such limited time left in session, it's important that we make this count and use the opportunity we have now to pass real and meaningful campaign finance reform that brings the massive structural change to our elections. Right now is the time, and right now we all need you. So thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Thank you so much for your help. Thank you for being in this with us. And I know we can get this done. So thank you.